deal because the last 5 times I've done that, we haven't been on. So I'm checking now to see that we're on.
That's where if we were working with a, if we had a song that we play, and we could have some of those, like, those great clips, like from shows, like the time when Ricky held the tree and the squirrel ran up him.
Yeah.
Oh, like
do that.
Yeah.
Outtakes.
Outtakes.
Okay, we are live on the old FB. Let me see if we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. It is Leah, Ryan, and Richard from the Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario, here with another Pioneer family show where we talk anything and everything to do with pigeons, pigeon related, one loft race, clocking systems, you name it, we talk about it. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. We will do our best to answer them for you, or someone in our audience will. I'm going to check to see if we're on YouTube, Ryan. Take it away.
She's pretty warm today. She's going to be a warm one. That loft there today when I took him out of the dark, she was 99. Nice and warm. Nice and warm. But they got to get used to it. But boy, that's hot. I know yours are now in the dark. You're going to lighten yours.
Lightening up very shortly.
But it's amazing, even in these conditions, how the birds go up in the evening here as it gets cooler and cooler. They go up.
Mm-hmm.
They love it.
We are also live on YouTube. Want to give a shout out to everybody over on YouTube. ABC Loft is in the house and says what time it will start. It has started now, ABC Loft, so get your questions in the comments section. Want to give a shout out who is on Facebook here. We got Mike Green, we have Owen Cleveley, Mike Vander Yak, Glenn the Hurdles, Thornley, Chris Withers, who by the way was the big winner last week in Pigeon Bingo, won 240 Canadian dollars. Which again is probably the equivalent of about 47 pounds where he's from, but congratulations anyway to Chris Withers. Let's give him a round of applause because he missed it last week. Round of applause for our good
Very
friend
good, Chris.
Chris
Very
Withers,
good, Chris.
who when I messaged him to ask how can we send you your winnings, you know what he said? He said, I'm gonna buy some more Benzing squares for the next game of Pigeon Bingo. And I say a big thumbs up to that. Thank you very much for that, Chris. Pigeon Bingo, by the way, will be back in a couple weeks. Once we get the auction over with, we're going to start a new game, a new round, new prizes. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Neil is in the house. Super Dave Ottaway is in the house. Troy Spencer, thank you for coming on Saturday, Troy. Nice to see you and play a couple rounds of Pigeonhole with you. Mike Vanderyak says, let's talk about smashes. LOL. What's a smash?
Smash.
Yeah, what's a smash?
I'm a little hot in the head today about a smash, and I think Mike is on the same wavelength. Maybe not any of our business.
Before we talk about a smash, because we really don't have a smash, did we? We don't have no smash. Now hold on, we didn't have a smash, but there's something deeply burning. I can feel it in Mike, inside of him. So Mike, let's talk about smashes.
I have the same feeling.
Well, but you didn't do anything this weekend, Mike.
No, but
Mike was participating, and I wonder if Mike wants to start the conversation on the smash, the great smash of 2021.
First of all, I think what we should describe to the audience and beginners is what is a smash. Does that mean you smashed your car up? Right? Nope. Or you smashed the eggs that you took out of your hand and they got smashed on the floor?
Nope.
No. So let's describe to people what a smash is.
And smashes in the words for pigeon racing, it has different terms. It can be the most beautiful day and you have a smash. It can be the worst weather day and you don't have a smash. It can be a mediocre day, you have a smash. It could be bad weather, you could have a smash.
What do you mean now? Okay, wait a minute. Wait, the most beautiful day you had a smash.
Yep.
Maybe you had a smash, but no one else had a smash because you're one of these guys that thought they were going to go to the race on the weekend. Mm-hmm. You trained them once on Monday and another time on Tuesday. You think you're ready to go, and you've totally let your birds down. Right. That means bad management, bird management. Bad man.
Mike Vandriak
Okay.
says, second worst race I ever flew. Can we please briefly explain what a smash is, please? Before we
Okay.
Smash,
What's a
smash.
smash?
A bad day of racing. You know, you're racing in a club or a combine, and they lose 90% of the birds don't make it home because of multiple reasons. It could be weather, it could be hawks, could be anything.
Wait a minute now. This last weekend's racing, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have birds in this race.
Mm-hmm.
Races with the combines.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't put the birds up on Saturday because they were worried about some rain. Okay. Now I know down here we didn't get any rain. It was a beautiful day. I called up there to Englehart to a friend of mine. He said there was absolutely no rain, but there was some rain in Temagami, which was roughly 40, 50 miles south. But I mean, once you're on the wing and you're on the way to go, you'll fly through that bit of rain. It's actually good.
I did notice.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't the Liberators on the weekend.
No. But I think Mike's bringing the smash out, so we're having about a smash. So then they held it over till the next day, but they had the Canadian Ontario government. They posted a heat warning, environmental heat warning. That was meaning it was going to be around 30 degrees, 32 degrees, 33 degrees. And the birds, you know, I heard stories that the birds went up, and they at that time it was about 27 degrees.
Well,
and they went back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Then I heard other stories. They brought the birds back.
I'm gonna now cut in. Shit, I know up there at Englehart, it gets light pretty early in the morning. 7 o'clock?
No.
It's a little bit earlier.
Light about 4 to 6.
Now, apparently, at the release point, it was 17 degrees with southwest winds and southeast winds. Now, I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. The way these other combines fly around here, and I hate to rip on it, because I sound like I'm a real whiner. But you guys fly in such tailwinds all the time. You look for that perfect day. And Saturday, you had your day. You had northwest, northeast winds, whatever it was, but she was hot. And you had it. And you had a little bit of rain to cool them down along the course. And you had that day. Hold on. But you know what you decided? You were going to wait and put them up Saturday. And you fair weather flyers on Saturday, it showed. Because on Sunday, it showed on Sunday. It sure showed with them. Because you know what they all did? They did exactly what you trained them to do. You buried them. And you know what? The Liberators, you should have known the heat was coming. So you know at 5:36 in the morning, those birds got to go up. Because why? You got to give them the most hours of coolness. The wind is at its lightest. Hold on. That's the number one thing. But you know what I've seen? You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing this. They're liberating at one spot, and then they get the trailer driver. Drive back, right? You know, drive. Hey, drive as fast as you can. Back to the next release point. Forget it. Hold on. I got to get home to see my wife. I'm not giving them water. Drop them out, and the next race goes out. And all you get is mass confusion, screw-ups. And unfortunately, the pigeon men here aren't good enough. They're not good enough to get the birds.
If I can say anything, that any blood running, I don't say animal, anything that runs with blood through their system, they can only work for about 2 hours in heat that's over 85 degrees. After 2 hours, they must go down for water. If they don't, they start going like this. They're finished. They get delirium. What do you call it? They can't function.
Yes.
They can't function. So they must go down for water after 2 hours.
I agree.
It's in a, you know, soccer players, football players,
right?
Rugby
We
players.
know this.
You know, any animal, racehorse,
you got to drink.
A plow horse, he can only work so hard. And I'm talking working. I don't mean sitting underneath the umbrella on the patio.
Okay.
Okay, I mean working. So what I'm saying is physically, I think what Mike is feeling, there's something.
They had their day on Saturday. It would have been a tough race, and the birds would have come. But now, what they've really done is the guys that were trying to play the lookout game. They looked out. They looked right past it, and they seem to do this almost every other week. They look past it. Just take the birds up and get the driver there and sit and wait. That's all you have to do.
The other question was,
but you don't do that.
Were the birds? Did you get a video of the birds getting watered?
You know what?
Were they watered? Yeah. And you know, the pigeon's body temperature is 107 degrees. If he's sitting in a trailer with 1,400 birds, 800 birds, on this kind of heat, with no wind, he's cooking before he goes.
Fun story. I was talking to Frank on Saturday, Frank Eichhorn, and he said, Ryan, you will not believe it. In my club, we water the birds at the club. He says, you know, Ryan, my birds are the only birds that drink. Nobody else waters their birds. They don't know how to drink. So again, guys,
that's a nice idea. But if they're trucking up the road for 7.5 hours.
Can I ask you a question? What? Frank just told you.
He waters
his birds, and his birds know how to drink. He says nobody else, none of the other birds go up and have a drink. Well, so can I ask you a question? If the driver that goes up there waters the birds and you don't know how to train your birds to drink water, well, what did you really do? If he gives them water or he doesn't, you didn't train your bird to think a little bit further ahead of the other ones.
Yeah, you're right.
So before we go any further, I'm just going to state a disclaimer that these opinions are those of Ryan, Richard, and myself. They are not anybody else's opinions. They are our own opinions. And we are telling you to do your own research and decide for yourself. We're not telling you how to decide. We're not telling you what to think. These are our own opinions and ideas. Don't come for us. Thank you very much. Mike Vandriak says, I got comments and we can't go on all night about this. Mike Vandriak says, Old Bird Matheson in 2000, that was his worst race ever. And then he also says that I think the terrible returns this Sunday are a mystery, i.e. unexplained. I have a question from ABC Loft over on YouTube who is waiting patiently, but Chris Withers, who is from the UK, where it does rain quite a bit, probably more than it rains here, he would have good experience with this. He says there was a liberation on Sunday in the UK. One of the big clubs let them up in a low cloud and missed. My question is, Chris Withers, would you rather take a 27% chance of rain on one day with still hot but not scorching temperatures, or the next day where there's a heat advisory in effect? It's like with the humidity feeling like it's 130 degrees outside. It was extremely hot yesterday. What would you pick? He flies in rain and drizzle and crap all the time. He lives in the UK. Isn't it always raining there? I'm just saying.
Well, what I would say is, I know Chris wants to get in here, but I would say if you give him, let's say, if he's in kilometers, 50 kilometers of good flying weather, or going to convert it to about 30 miles in good flying weather with only 25% of rain, I would put them up. I would 100% put them up.
You know, I know one year, you can grab it. I know one year we were flying the Toronto Trifecta. It was, I think, our last year we ran it. And we flew a Tamagami, which was about, 250 kilometers. Something along those lines. And I released the birds in the morning. It was it was 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. It was beautifully clear where I was. And I drove down the road about literally 2 miles. And I hit about 27 or 30 kilometers of straight low ceiling fog. And the birds had a tailwind. And I'll be honest, the birds that should have done it in 4 hours, they did it in 6 hours, and they came all spotted up. The mist and the fog screwed them up. And when I thought I let them go, I thought it was completely clear, and I just drove a bit and I seen it. There's no perfect days, but you have to understand, especially here, when it's going to be hot and you're going to play them in the heat, I really recommend you get them up early. Big time, as early as possible.
Well, I think that's my next question. Were they not liberated at 10 o'clock in the morning?
No, I heard they were released at 7 and another one at 8:30. But I'm going to tell you, if you go from Englehart to Latchford, you know, by the time
That's
you
about
get
40 miles.
40 miles, you let them out at 8:30. There's not much time there to give those birds water. And I'm going to tell you another thing. You bounce those birds down the trailer. Bounce them. You just fired them up, the first group up, and the whole group in the trailer fires up. Then you come back with those birds, and those birds are jacked up and charged. They're already what you call sweating. They're already lathered, and they're ready to roll. I personally think
They don't want to drink.
I personally think these double and triple releases are double releases and going back and forth to spots. I always say it's a murder.
No, just hold on a minute. I don't think we got Chris's answer on what Leah asked him.
He has to respond.
So no, Chris's answer was, if the humidity is high, I would take 25% chance of rain. The birds will fly around the rain if they have it in their heads. They're pretty clever.
Thank you.
He would take this 25. You know what a 25% chance of rain is here?
It's a chance of rain.
You know what? Leah said something great.
I let go from Temagami. I let go birds from Temagami one time. To here, it's 221 miles. I've let them go in drizzle, right?
Yeah.
And from Temagami to North Bay, which is the next down, is 60 miles. It's about 60 miles.
Right.
And when I hit North Bay, the sky just opened up.
Like clear. Yeah. Now my question was,
flew through that drizzle.
Leah said something. Leah's into gardening. You know this.
Yeah.
Leah, we've got the thunder going here.
Right.
Leah, what do you say? Because you water your flowers, what is it, twice or once a day? What's your rule?
Usually once a day if it's real hot. Maybe once.
Okay.
Twice maybe.
Okay. And what were you said something about the weather conditions and when you water and when you don't?
Well, I'm always watching the weather to know if I'm going to have to get up at the crack of dawn to get out there and water all my stuff. So if I look at the weather and it says it's a 25%, 27%, 30%, even a 40% chance of rain, I'm setting my alarm clock and going out there and watering because the chances are it's not going to rain. That's just from my experience.
Let me just say something. Here in this area, right here where we are, on Saturday, it was predicted 82% chance of rain.
Yep.
We never got one drop.
The whole day. And we live on the ridge.
82%.
And then normally, if they say you're going to get it, we're going to get it. We didn't get it. The weather people can be wrong. But what I find amazing is, with all this modern technology, those liberators,
you don't need them.
They're getting worse. They're getting worse.
You don't need them.
They're getting worse. They're getting worse. Take the driver, drive up there. The weather's clear at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. Bang, let's get the kids on the way. She's going to be a scorcher today. But you know what they do? Well, the wind's going to be this or this is going to be that.
Well, and Dave says, release as soon as the sun breaks, the horizon, the bottom of it. Driving back to release is a bad idea. We never used to when I was there. Then they went back to driving back again. Hocus pocus thinking prevails again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the shaking of the can. It's the shaking of the can, and you'll see it time and time again. You see it. These combines, they've got this in their head. They want to give these guys all these, I don't know what type of races there are. They got guys in clubs all jacked up flying the short program, and I got guys saying in clubs, get a load of this one. We're trying to build an old bird team, so we're only going to fly the short program for the next 3 years. Do you know how you build an old bird team? You start flying from day one, and Dave said it last week. You fly every week and keep going and build your team as you go.
I hate to say this, but I seen a combine with a driver. Okay. He took the birds. He had to take the birds up to a race point. It was like North Bay, 163 miles to here.
Yeah.
But they asked him to hold the birds for a bit. But the driver, he had to go to a wedding.
Yeah.
Okay? Like 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what he did? What they did? I know it. They drove the birds back to his house, which was back about 100 miles, and they called it a holdover.
Yeah, that's right.
Till the next day.
Yeah.
Driving those birds back. Do you know what that does to them? and then you start up the truck and drive back up again?
But
because he had to go to a wedding.
Again, though, we're here, unfortunately, in Canada. This is the third world country of pigeon flying. Remember, we're doing shit backwards, sideways, recalculating. And you want to know what? What do we find? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And all the pigeon guys that we have here, they've been trained the old way.
Listen, I hate to say this, but I know some guys that bought some expensive dogs.
Mm.
And if he didn't hunt the right way, real expensive dogs, I said, well, what'd you do to him? He said, I tied him to the tree. And then you know what happened.
That's right.
Pop.
Okay. I'm going to get to ABC Loft's question, and then there's a couple more comments on Facebook. Okay, ABC Loft, thank you for your patience. First YouTube question, he's asking, what is your opinion on single tossing youngsters? And is a 2 mile toss for the first toss good enough? Thoughts?
Well, you want to go on this?
Think about this.
You go ahead. You take her.
2 mile toss. I think that's good.
Good toss. I think a 2 mile toss is a great toss.
And single tossing, I don't like single tossing because there has to be a competitiveness, I think, between the birds. I like to go triple toss. I really like that.
3s and 5s is good.
Yeah, right. Single toss. I know what you're thinking. You think you're going to make them think by going single, but the bird, I believe, he goes, holy jumping. Where is everybody? Now it's like better off if there's 3 of us dumped into a huge city. The 3 of us are going to be able to probably think a little better on how to get back to the bus than if one of us went. And we're going to be more competitive. We're going to feel better as 3 or as 5. Single toss, I don't go so much for that. I like a double toss. I like a triple toss. A 5 bird toss.
Small in the groups down, make the birds think. You're going to get more performance, I think, out of the birds.
Yeah. I think if you let up 40 birds, you're going to find out that probably 3 or 5 of them do more thinking.
Do the work
in the brain. It's like if we all get off the bus and there's 100 of us, there's usually, if you sit back and look, there's 2 or 3 people on that bus that pretty well think for the rest of us.
Well, it's like anything. There's leaders and there's followers. Come on, take a look. And the thing is, if you're going to train them in small groups, always switch the groups around. Don't put always all your reds together. Don't put all your blue pies together.
Right.
Switch them up.
Yeah, that's right.
And what was the other question?
No, he's saying about the 2 miles, 2 kilometers.
Is a 2 mile toss a good first starting toss?
Great. A mile, 2 miles.
I think it's good.
Sure. Yeah. We like to go 2 miles, and we take them there 4 or 5 times. You know what? It's a waste of time, isn't it? It isn't. They go up and they don't rip it off and beat you home. They go and they do their fly and they do their this and they do their that. Then they come.
If you can, loft fly them before you take them up.
Yeah.
Let them loft fly for whatever, half an hour, an hour. Get them in. Have a little drink of water.
Let them sit in the basket for a few hours.
Yeah, and then take them up to 2 miles. If you take them right from the loft when they just got out of bed and dump them at 2 miles, you know what happens? A lot of times they come down and maybe you can't see it, but they go right over your loft. And then you get home and you go, holy mackerel, what's the matter with these birds? They're just slow or they're stupid. And then they'll come a half an hour later out of the south or out of the east, and they'll come over and you'll say, oh, these guys are dummies, right? Because when you let them out without a loft fly in the morning, they have so much energy.
Listen, and this is getting back to the word smash. You see, there's a new guy on Facebook. He's racing his birds, and he's excited. He's starting to train, eh?
Who's that?
Another guy, right? A guy. We know him.
Oh, okay.
He's happy. He's got his birds. They must be flying good around his loft. He started to train them. I seen him. He's got them out this morning at 6:30, 5:30, 6:30 here in the morning.
Young birds.
He's taking them training. Okay? Your birds are going up. They're feeling good. Birds are going up, feeling good. His smash is coming. His smash, he'll smash them in the morning because he's going to get caught in with older, stronger birds that are out playing around, and you're going to hook up with his. training too early. Don't take the train out of the pigeon. The pigeon.
You don't mean early in the morning. You mean too early
he's
before the
training,
races?
The birds are too young to be trained.
Right.
From what I can see.
And
they're too young to be trained.
In this area, the young bird races start in August. So we're June, July, August, 2 months away.
Right. The birds are a bit young to be training. He's got them up and he's letting them up, and I call it the real danger time.
Oh, yeah.
6 in the morning. And what's going to happen is he's going to hook up with guys that know what they're doing with the birds. When they start
training old birds, guys that are training old birds,
and they're going to suck them away. So I always we like to recommend when we train our young birds. I like to train them in the middle of the day, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when she's piping hot. They've had their loft fly. They're done. It's time for them to come in and get something to eat, and it's done. Train them. That's what I like. I mean, I think it's the best way.
Very dangerous. Between 6 in the morning and probably 9.
Danger.
For young birds, real dangerous.
And as you work them up and get them going, you get them past 60, 80, 100 miles, then you can bring them back down, because by this point, they've had a lot of shit thrown at them. And remember, when you train young birds, and the first 10 tosses, they're doing great, you're feeling invincible.
Yeah.
And then the next one you take them on, you blow half of them away in the day. That was actually training toss number 1. Because that's the first time they had to use what we call this.
I've experienced loft flying at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, right from here. Just a loft fly, young birds. You let them out. And down the road here, there was people, they had a van, they let out 100 birds, and I didn't realize it. And you lose 10 or 15 young birds right off the loft. They get hooked up.
And they go for a drag.
And once they're that age, they're like teenagers. Oh, we don't have to watch. We can go for a party. They just follow them down. Boom.
So hopefully that answers your question, ABC Loft. If anybody else wants to comment on single tossing or has any experience or uses it themselves, let me know in the comments. Getting back to multiple liberations, Chris Withers says that I don't believe in multiple liberations on the same transporter because those birds aren't happy if they get left behind. It hypes them up too much. And I believe Dave Ottaway agrees with that. Now, that's an interesting thought, because with our 1 bird, 2 bird, 5 bird league with the Pioneer Club this year, we're in fact doing that, correct?
Yeah, it's much that's very small. I think I was a few years ago. I was up there in Berks Falls, and the Hamilton trailer was releasing birds, and I couldn't believe this. The power of the pigeons.
Oh,
the man was cutting the ties and setting the gates for the birds to go.
Right.
And this must have been race 4. Okay. As he was cutting the gates and moving along, the birds with such energy, they were climbing up and getting out of the baskets. They were getting out.
They're so smart.
But they were so, because of that sound of the snap. They've heard it, and what it is that's like telling them we're going to battle now.
Have you ever went to the racetrack?
Yep.
And watched those horses in there? When there's a certain sound.
Yeah, they know.
The guy's just holding the horse.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it as well. It's amazing.
Yeah,
and it's amazing how they get to know the sounds of the racetrack and what leads up to that gate being released. And that few minutes before the horn goes or whatever they do, I've seen it too. You can see that the adrenaline in them. It's amazing.
And this is what we talk about when you fire that car right up. And it's one thing to fire the car up,
and then you let it down.
But then fire the car up, let it down, get in your car or your transporter, and drive like a wild person to the next release point. Shake them around. Get there and go, shit, it's going to be 39 degrees today. Cut the ties and let them out. All you're doing is setting yourself up for a mega fail.
Well, I know
a smash, which is what happened.
You know how smart they are. They know a system. For example, my young birds, I got them in the morning. I let them out. I let them have an open loft, let them have their fly, whatever, because they're still learning. Some people are going to say, "Oh, they're still not flying. There's something wrong with you." Okay, I'm going to admit it. They're still learning. And I lift the bobs up. I have bobs. I lift them up, and I let them out. And before I call them in, I change the water, put new water in. Before I call them in, I pull the whatever I have to release the bobs.
And the sound of
and
those
the bobs go clink, 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 clink as they hit the whatever.
And that's the magical sound. That's the magical sound.
And then all of a sudden, I don't even call them.
Yeah.
Soon they hear those bobs going clink, 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 clink. Boom, 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 boom. Right in, right? Don't even have to call them.
Okay, I'm
So
going to
they
get.
know.
All right, I'm going to get to the next question. Neil Gonzalez says, question, what's on the agenda for the Pioneer meeting next Wednesday? I will be attending. Okay, so we can just briefly talk about the Pioneer Club meeting. We were supposed to have it on Saturday. Not enough people showed up on Saturday for whatever reasons there were. And we didn't want to have to do it twice. So we decided we're now going to do another club meeting on Wednesday, June the 16th. This is going to be last call, folks, because we can't just keep doing meeting after meeting and people don't show up. That's why I purposefully 2 weeks ago put out a notice to say what Saturday works best for everybody in the month of June. And everybody said June 5th. And so we made it on June 5th. And then people didn't show up. And not only did they not show up, but they didn't even let us know that they weren't showing up. So, guys, that's not cool. I understand you guys probably are not used to clubs who put a little effort into their meetings, who put a little effort into events that they host, meaning, yes, we had the event catered, etc., etc. Please be respectful and at least say, I can't make it, I'm sick, I have diarrhea, whatever the excuse may be. Just let us know ahead of time. That's all I ask, because it kind of gets my goat. So on Wednesday, June the 16th at 7 p.m., it's going to be a meeting only. We're going to do a short benzing demonstration and a meeting to talk about the 2021 regular race season. We are running
Young
the
bird.
One Loft race, we are running the Gold Band race, and we are also running a regular race season. 9 weeks of racing for our club members, where you're going to race on our trailer and get a combine, a Pioneer combine result. And we want to discuss that, how it's going to work, etc. The different leagues we're going to have, the fees that, just regular club stuff that we got to, I want everybody to be on the same page before racing starts. And then everybody says, well, you guys weren't organized. We're trying to be organized. You guys got to get on board. That's all I'm going to say about that. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I think you hit it right there. Show up. You want to have fun? You guys want to race pigeons? You want to have some serious fun and really race pigeons? Show up. If you're a club member or you're not, show up. We're opening the doors. We're letting people in. I don't use words like no or can't. Anybody that wants to attend can attend.
Also, want to dispel a rumor that has been going around the rumor mill, which is that we are not allowing CRPU bands in our club, on our trailer, in our one loft, in our lives. That is a lie. Whoever is saying that, that is a falsehood. Just look at the band list in our Pioneer Youngbird series. I would say the what, 70% of them are CU bands? I don't know. I haven't done the math yet, but there's quite a
I don't.
few. We don't say no to anybody. I don't care what kind of band you have on, nor does Ryan, nor does Richard. It can be one your kid makes in arts and crafts. I don't care. We're here to fly pigeons. We can't be picky or choosy. Any bands are
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
You don't need a resume to be in our club. We don't care if you got a speeding ticket. We don't care if you spent 5 years and 10 years in jail. We don't care if you haven't got a grade 2 education. We
That's
don't
right.
care.
We don't care. We're just,
Just
you're here,
come on,
here to
let's
fly
fly
birds.
pigeons,
And the
okay?
people that say these rumors, some of these guys I know, right? I know them. What are you trying to do here? what's the point of this? And I got another bone to pick. I got guys here on the weekend.
Right.
The loft's open, eh?
Right.
That means you can look at pigeons if you want. You want to see a pigeon? I want to see Guru. Show Guru to somebody. Oh, look, that's a nice pigeon. That's nice. Oh, pass that pigeon. We look at some pigeons. Frank's seen his pigeons. Mo's seen his pigeons. Henry's seen Mo's pigeons. Blah, blah, blah. People say, well, that's not right. You shouldn't allow people to handle other people's. Right now, these birds are my birds. They're not your birds no more. I'm working them. The loft is open. You want to come and handle birds? You want to come in the loft? You come in the loft. The door is open. I am not like the other one loft races that are hiding. If we don't show them, they don't know how shit they are, or do they? No, we show everything. You see the birds behind me, they're out. We show everything. And we will allow people to handle birds because I like to let people see the condition. I can tell you how good it is, and you'll say Ryan Zonigan's one hell of a salesman. No, 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 no. You put the pigeon in your hand, and you tell me if it has condition. I'm not going to tell you. The pigeon's going to tell you.
And you know what the great thing is with our open door policy is that once again, and I'm going to keep saying it, we're here to promote the sport and we are here to educate people. And what was really nice on Saturday, because we had a great group of people who did come on Saturday, we had a wonderful time. And what was great, Ryan, is you allowed anybody who wanted to handle whoever they wanted to go in the loft to see how they were. And we had some newer members that came on Saturday, and you were showing them this flight has been kicked, or this, you see the difference between this flight and that flight. And you could see that the new people appreciate to learn from you guys who have a little bit more experience. You know what? It's a learning tool. And power and knowledge is power. And I just feel the more you teach the new people and everybody, the better flyers they're going to become, the more fun they're going to have, and the more they're going to continue on. That's why we have an open door policy. So
I
that is
would
our
like to.
policy. If that is not something that you agree with or you believe in, this probably isn't the race for you.
I would like to say, if anyone that knows a lot, right, come on down, join the club, let's talk. And I'm not saying I would like to learn, because every time you speak with someone, you learn. You understand me? So I'm not saying come on down.
I'm mind
Right.
boggled. I'm mind boggled how I can go to races. Okay, I can go to races in Canada. Every one I've been to in Canada, every one. The birds win. The guy don't bring you out the birds because he's afraid to show you. He put no condition on them, and they sure as shit didn't do that distance. That's why the guys don't bring the birds out. I went to San Diego and won the whole damn thing. Ahmad brought the bird out. The bird was there was no feathers on the chest. It was blown out. The pigeon could have went right back to 300 miles. It was that damn nice.
Blown out in nice condition.
Super form. But you want to know what? All the winners got to take pictures with their birds, handle their birds. The form, the condition was perfect. But here in this country, grandma only lives 15 miles away. You don't have to put no condition on no pigeons. And that's why all these races around here, they don't want to go head to head with us because they can't do it, because they will not put the time and the energy to get the birds into racing condition. And you want to know how I know this? I'll ask them all again. You're all welcome to come and play with the Pioneer kids. All for free. You can come and participate.
All I like to say is,
hold on, I have to.
People that have a lot of experience and they come down and visit, or if I speak to them on the phone and they talk to me and I listen to them, even though I got about 60 years, and I listen to them and I listen, and the fellow will say, or the woman will say to me something that's very nice for me to hear. I mean, nice means I got a little bit of education from them. But meanwhile, when I talk to that same person, I communicate back. I know this person is probably absorbing some education that I have. But I don't sit down and say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't do this. You know, this is me. You shouldn't do that. No. It's just so
What are we trying to say?
you learn this
You
when you're
learn
talking to somebody that's had a lot of years in birds, and you listen
Mm.
and you listen and he listens and you're back and forth. That makes a
Okay.
beautiful
For sure it
learning
does. For sure
experience.
it does.
Getting
Okay, we're
And
gonna move
guys,
on here. I got more
guys
questions.
with
We're gonna be here all
top-notch
night.
experience don't start slamming, and they won't. If there was reasonable people,
I'm not
don't
slamming.
slam people.
I'm not slamming anybody.
No,
I'm trying to get the game to be a bit better.
Right. I always help whoever I can. I help them.
So do I.
And as a pigeon keeper, I think, and as a pigeon promoter, and if you want this sport to continue on, if you don't, then don't bother. But if you want it to carry on, yeah, please be a mentor. Offer good advice, not crappy advice, not lies. Don't tell people lies.
I always say, if you're starting off flying racing pigeons or racing horses or race dogs or whatever else you're doing, you have to start off to be a pigeon keeper
Yes, before
before
you're a
you
pigeon
can
flyer.
become a real pigeon flyer. You
Yeah.
have to learn to keep a racehorse, really, to understand them before you can actually get on and race them, or you can hire somebody to ride them for you. So you have to go through this stage. It's very hard to learn out of a textbook or learn out of the internet system. It is very, very hard because it's some, I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
You
you
always
have to
learn
have
better. You always learn better
it's
hands-on.
hands-on experience is always
Hey,
fun.
listen,
Hold on.
listen. The beautiful thing. I'm going to mention some names, right?
Why?
We got Mike Vanderyak. He said pigeons for years. Dave Ottaway, pigeons for years. Who I can't remember now. Wayne out west, pigeons for years and years. And they come on the show and they make comments and they're feeling what our vibes are. And then they're kind of going to make this chemistry together. And a certain amount of it goes good, certain amount doesn't. If they learn a little bit from us, they learn. Even though the guys had birds for 60 years.
And it's the same thing we learn from them. We all learning. You got to keep your mind open. Anyways,
Gotcha.
go ahead, Leah.
Okay. So getting back to training, and Farloff says it's way too early to start to train young birds. Chris Withers says that he has 10 weeks before his first young bird race, and he's probably going to get them going at the 8-week mark before.
Yep.
Where else here?
I think that's a very good pair of two fellas there. Very good comment. It takes about, if you go gently, about 8 weeks to get the right muscle tone on your birds. But you don't want to bore them. You don't want to.
Yeah.
Because not only can you train too late, but you can also train too early, where if you're starting to train now and your racing is until August, by the time you get to August, they're either bored or burnt out.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just
right.
what I've
Depends.
heard from you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
so Owen and I think Neil have the same question, and they want to know, are the release locations, have the club confirmed any of the 9 spots for the Young Bird series? Are we talking about this season, Neil, or next season? Owen's asking, are the release locations last year going to be the same as this year for the Young Bird One Loft race?
Yeah, well, we have our locations already mapped out for this season's course.
Yeah, we're doing one a little shorter.
We're going from Huntsville up. We have the locations it's on our site, is it not, Leah? I believe.
Yeah, I can even put it up now. Like I can find it and put it up now if we want to go through if anybody is interested in this year's regular Pioneer race season lineup where we're going. I can throw it up on the board if people want to look at it.
And remember, we're doing something a little bit out of the box. If you want to fly old birds, you can.
Oh, that's right.
You can fly old birds.
Yeah, old birds and young birds. Chris Withers says that he wants to see at least 40 tosses before the first race. Dave Tracy, haven't seen you on, welcome, says, what do you think about training young birds around the clock?
Well, I'm going to say, Dave, in Calgary, they race around the clock.
Yeah, but they have a different race program.
They have a different race program. If you're a guy that's doing around the clock racing in your club or combine, then do it. I think if you're going sort of one direction, I would keep the birds on the same highway, the same course as what you're going, the same line them up.
I'm just going to interject here. For those of us who don't know, what does it mean to either race around the clock or train around the clock? What is he talking about there, for those of us that don't know?
He's just talking about, one day I train east, the next day I train west, the next day I train north, the next day I train south.
Okay.
Now, I would say, if it was me and I'm flying north, I'm going to train north. If there's some big body of water right up against me and I don't want to train them to go around the water, I might train them south.
Straight south.
Straight south or straight north.
Draw a line.
And draw the line to your place. Line everything up as in a line. Create your line to your place. You train your birds for your line. Don't worry about what your neighbor's doing. And if your neighbor's training your birds, and he's your neighbor, and he's 15 miles away, and he tells you where he's going, and you're going to jump on with him, well, you're taking your birds onto his line. So always remember your own line. You create your own line for your birds. I think it's the smartest. If you want to train around the clock,
the way I look at it is, if you're racing, let's say straight north to a race point, starting, training that line, okay, it's like going to work.
Yeah.
If you're used to getting up in the morning, getting in your car, and just drive to work, and you did that every year for 30 years, 20 years of your life, 40 years of your life, you don't even have to open your eyes. You get in the car and drive straight to work. But if you got to get up in the morning and now you got to figure out, where do I go to work? Oh, I got to go to work northeast. Oh, I got to go to work northwest. You got to get the map book out and look, how do I get there? How do I do this? How do I do that? If you train your pigeons on a straight line to the race point, keep it on a straight system, the pigeons get used to that. I'm talking right now, right? People get used to, the birds get used to that, and there's more confidence building. Once they get up there, they come out of the trailer, they don't even have to, they just hook and go. They don't have to look in the map book.
No. And they get used to looking at the map book on the line as they go down. They're orientating as they go. Now again, if you are in like Calgary and you're flying around the clock, then you're going to work your birds that way.
Okay, so we have a couple different comments based on this around the clock or around the compass or around the world, whatever you want to call it, training in different directions.
Good
Dave
drink
Ottaway
around the
says,
world.
it does not hurt to train 10 miles around the clock, but then train in the line of the races after. Chris Withers, who is from the UK, so it totally, was raised or came up in pigeon racing, totally different than we did. He says, yes, train them in the line of direction. Also try and train at a point where you think your birds should break.
Yes. Now, in the UK, I'm going to use UK because there's a lot of pigeon flyers. The break, that's a big spot. Where you think the birds are going to break. I've heard guys, they pick a spot, a 20-mile spot. That's where they need their birds to break, and they'll train from that spot. Here in North America, we're so spread out, there's no real break. Literally, your bird's got to break from the release point because it's such a spread. But exactly what Chris is saying, you train them to get confidence and know their line and know their breaking point. Know where they have to break.
First of all, if I can say something.
Well, you missed the comment, but okay.
Okay, I missed the comment. Sorry to butt in. But when you loft fly your birds, which that's training.
That is.
Your birds go up and they loft fly. They go around and they loft fly. They loft fly. They're getting a, what should I say? They're getting a base of this. So right there, that's very important, the loft line part of it.
Well,
right?
that's Dave said, you know, it's not a big deal to train them 5 to 10 miles around the clock. I don't think that's a bad deal. You remember exactly when your birds go out and you let them out in the morning and they disappear for that hour and a half.
They're learning
2
that
hours.
automatically.
They're going 10 miles south, east, west, north. The wind, and you know what? Oops, the wind blew them 10 miles south today. They got to come back in the headwind.
They're learning that automatically.
And that's,
so my feeling is, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
But why would I waste my time when the birds
are doing it naturally,
rambling for an hour, going that way? I see them going this way. Next thing I see them going that way, and they're coming back. They're flying 5 miles that way, flying 3 miles this way, 2 miles that way. When the wind blows them south.
That's right.
They ramble, they go down, and they come back.
But these are all things, you know, we're all in roughly of an agreement.
Yeah, we are.
Right. They got to ramble 5 to 10 miles. Sure, if you want to go around the clock a little bit, that's fine. They're going to do that around your loft anyways. But remember, you want them to be fast, not like Richard said, and have to look in that book. Look in that book. And you know what? It's almost causes is play a trick on them, play a trick on them, play a trick on them. And what happens is when you single toss a pigeon that you've been training in a group of 40 or 50 birds, he just goes up and he just circles and he goes, well, where the hell's everybody? You're playing a mental trick on them. And you slow the speed down, don't you?
They're very smart.
They're smart.
They're
and they'll
smart.
wait. They'll wait.
Real smart.
Okay, so Neil had another question about the meeting. Are we going to be discussing the 2022 race release locations?
Yes.
This meeting on Wednesday, June the 16th.
Okay, so for that, and that's great. Leah, you made a great point. Ricky Cruz and Frank Eichhorn, they've paid their memberships up for next year, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So this is how this is going to work. If you want to be a part of our band series next year, you want to be a part of all that, we want you to be a part. We want you to feel that you have a fair say. So what we need you to do is become a club member, and then you have a say in where the races are going to be. You can put your points in for that. And that's what we have to talk about.
And sorry to interrupt you there, Ryan, but speaking of club membership, just to let everybody know, if you are planning on racing with us next year with our brand new money bands that we're doing next year, and you want to fly with us this year, or you want to attend races this year, or whatever it is you're doing, this year it's $50 for the season. Next year is going to be $125 flat rate. If you pay the $125 this year, then that will cover you for this year's membership and next year's membership, you know, which, hey, is a savings, right?
Yeah, that's right. And again, I'm not taking people's ideas who aren't participating.
Right.
So if you think you're going to give me a list of locations you want to race from and then sit on the fence and twiddle your thumbs, I'm not interested. I'm interested in the guys that are here to play. So right now, we got Ricky Cruz. He's going to pick some spots, and Frank Eichhorn's going to pick some spots. I'm going to pick some spots. Richard's going to pick some spots. The people that are participating are going to be able to pick some spots. That's how it's going to go down.
Right.
And we have a system of how we're going to fairly pick the spots in the end, but we want everybody to be able to participate and put their choices down and have a fair shot of getting that spot they want.
That's correct. So hopefully that helps to answer your question, Neil. ABC Loft on YouTube has another great question. He says he has another one. What do you know about giving birds grape juice for recovery? Is that a real thing?
Okay, well, if you want me to tell you what I like to use, great. Grape juice, a lot of sugar, good. Glucose. The quicker you can rebuild the bird, the better. And we use the Omniform. I use the Carmine. I use the Dextrotronic, the glucose, and the Recoup. I put them all together. I make like what you call a swamp water, almost. And I give it to those birds when they come back. For instance, today, if we were training the birds today, it's 30 degrees here, 35 degrees. If I was training them 10 miles, I'd have that when they come back. Build it right back into them. Build it right back into them. We don't want to take nothing away. We want to give them everything. Build back. But grape juice, yeah. Grape juice, glucose.
Very good.
Gatorade. Hey, get it into the system.
Great.
And
Isn't it
for
grape
yourself,
sugar? Grape sugar?
Yeah. Grape sugar is glucose, yeah.
what's the
Right.
name of that stuff we use in that jar there? It's grape. I can't remember the name. No,
I don't know.
but
It's glucose.
and actually, a glass of grape juice or a glass of wine for yourself every day is the best thing for you.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not. But
health
yes.
advice with Loft Manager Ricky.
And also a bottle of stout beer.
Guinness
It's a
beer.
real heavy stout beer.
Yeah.
Very good. One bottle a day.
And remember,
that's
you can give even your pigeons beer.
It's good.
You can?
Yeah.
Anybody give their pigeons beer?
So, yeah. Too expensive.
By the time you pour it, you feel guilty, so you start drinking it out of the drinker. Go ahead, Leah. Fire it in.
Karloff says, I read something that said that electrolytes, I guess, are needed. I don't know if he missed his sentence there, but electrolytes.
Yeah, recoup.
Important, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure. If you're going to go week after week with those birds, and you're not breaking the birds, giving them a week off, you build them up as quickly as you can. Let's take an example.
Wait,
I'm going to take
I just have to interrupt you for 1 second. He finished his sentence. He said that he read somewhere that electrolytes should not be given after a race.
I'll tell you something.
I think it's good.
I'll tell you something. Wherever I played soccer in Europe, the only thing they didn't forget giving you water. Look on the bench where the Leafs play or the Canadians play. All they got is Gatorade on the bench. It's all electrolytes. You're trying to rebuild, get everything back. What do you do when you're down and you go to the hospital? What do they put you on? Electrolytes, right? They boost you up. You need electrolytes.
I'm curious why it said that. Like why it said not to give them the electrolytes, because when you've depleted everything, the most important thing is to build it up. Also a good point on giving electrolytes or recovery when they come back from races. A good tip, Ryan, that people don't believe. What temperature water should you give them?
Warm. And warm is almost right out of the top. Nice lukewarm water, not cold. Give it to them like that. You're going to save their guts big time, because they've just pumped. Their body's running at whatever temperature. You put ice cold water into their system and they guzzle it. They get bad guts. It's hard on them. Keep the water nice and warm.
You don't want to give them a heart attack. Couldn't you give them a heart attack?
Give them nice warm water.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Warm water.
They're gonna love you for it. You don't give a racehorse cold water.
Robbie Taylor says that he gives his birds honey when they come home.
That's good.
Tony's going to find the article and send it over. Thank
Okay.
you. Dave says electrolytes is salt's replacement to retain water. Well, I do know that electrolytes, I know like drinks like Gatorade is high in sodium. I do know that. Maybe we need to do more research. So Dave, Dave, my question for Super Dave is, do you give your birds electrolytes or no? Or anybody else for that matter? Chris Withers says, talking about getting the young birds flying around the loft. He says, yes, I get my young birds flying around the loft, but when I start training, they only go training, no more loft fly. I don't want them to keep flying in circles. I want them to go straight out of the crate and home and repeat. So he doesn't loft fly.
Now, I got a question for Chris. This is an actual question. Chris, do you just do, because I know in the UK they actually have sprint programs. Is it just a sprint race series? I'm wondering that. The only race is the sprint program.
That's a totally different method. Everybody we know, they loft flying goes hand in hand with the training, right? Like I know with our pioneer birds, you will loft fly them and then you will take them for a trainer, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to take the extra starch out of the potato.
Take the steam out of
the steam, take a little bit of that extra gas. take the gasoline out, get them, and I like loft flying them. Then they land, you get them to come in again. You know, they get used to the system. Land, come in, land, come in, land, come in. You know, go for the trainer, come in. So I'm double training. They're getting double trap training at the same time. But hey, there are guys that do different things. But I wonder if he flies only a sprint course. I'm just wondering.
So we'll wait for Chris to respond. Dave says, yes, I do give them electrolytes. And Mike Vandriak says, people sweat and lose electrolytes. Pigeons don't sweat and don't lose electrolytes. They dehydrate and need fresh, pure water after a hard fly.
Come on.
Well, wait a minute.
Come on.
I'm going to ask a question here. I put birds in a basket.
They sweat.
And I don't know what that smell is.
That's
but
pigeon
I
sweat.
can smell their sweating.
It's pigeon
It's
sweat.
sweat.
It's sweat. You know, Colm Van Zorn, he won the national Chateauroux there.
Yeah.
His father said, I couldn't believe it. He took the hen out of the basket at the club, and he said the hen was literally wet in his hands.
Whoa.
She was so turned on and motivated. He says she was sweating. Now, you put pigeons in your car or you put them in a basket, you can smell the heat off of them.
I can smell the sweat.
That's sweat.
I don't know.
They gotta sweat.
I always, you know what? I always said I can smell the sweat. I can smell the heat off the birds. Okay?
Yeah.
Now maybe I was not smelling the right, maybe I thought it was sweat, but maybe it wasn't sweat.
So Dave Ottaway
I don't
says
know.
the French Foreign Legion distributes salt tablets to the soldiers in the desert to retain water in their system. Well, I do know if you have a lot of sodium in your system and salt, you will retain a lot of water. I know, speaking from experience. But I guess Mike Vandriak is saying that
Here, you got any
pigeons
more?
don't sweat. So I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to Google and find that out because I don't know that for a fact. ABC Loft has another great question. He says, last one I got is apple cider vinegar in the water every day bad, or should I only do it 2 days a week?
I do it every day in the water, every single day. Apple cider vinegar, every day in the water, every single day. Get it into their body. You got to get that in. The same as garlic.
Yeah,
what do you call it? Garlic oil?
I think if you're going to get on that natural road, right, I think you better, A, do it all the time, religiously be in it, or don't do it at all. Because I don't think you're getting it by not, you got to keep it. And remember, with things like apple cider, watch how much you put in. Watch how much you put in. And just for yourself, take a spoon of apple cider and taste it. See what it does to your stomach. So you want your birds to hydrate, and you're running apple cider, and you're putting, 3 ounces to 2 liters of water. The birds, they're going to tell you, I ain't drinking this shit. I ain't drinking
They'll fly a mile for fresh water.
That's right. So you got to really watch.
Or you're going to get them drinking out of your gutters or, your neighbor's pool. Or I know Xavier Verstrada, who is one of our Feathers Elite auction breeders. I remember, Ryan, we had the conversation with him when we did the live Q&A. And we talked about medication and treatments and concoctions and potions. And he said that he doesn't give anything to his pigeons unless he tastes it himself, including things like apple cider vinegar, because you can overdo it and make it to the point where they don't want to drink it. You don't want to do that.
And I always like to say, hey, this is a little tip. Make the water for your birds, whatever concoction you're putting in. Whatever it is. If you're going to give your birds, what's that stuff they do to clean the metal? Some guys use it that smokes. Sulfuric acid.
Yeah.
You're going to put that in the water. Before you give it to your pigeons, you put your big boy pants on. You take a nice big sip of it. You first taste it and see how it is. And if you like it, then give it to them. If you don't like it, don't give it to them.
Guido says, I do give electrolytes as well, but a few hours after the return when they start eating good. The first drink upon return is always clear, room temperature water. Karloff says, it's an article on the CRPU website. If you search CRPU and electrolytes, you will find the article by Gordon Chambers, a vet. And Chris Weathers also responded to you, and I missed it, and he says that he races sprint and middle distance.
Okay. All right.
And that's 2 times a day. He trains 2 times a day?
Oh, okay. So he's training 2 times a day. So he doesn't need the loft fly. He's giving them the work. He's giving them the mental work and remember, a bird loft flies a little bit differently around the loft than he does flying home. Flying home, they don't know. They go into what we call race mode. Around the loft, they still have the fun mode. They fly good, but they still in fun mode. But
Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
I wouldn't buy that. What was in that article there? Forget it. You know what?
We don't even know what was in it.
I don't know what was in the article, but how can a player like LeBron James pay $1 million or $2 million a year for a nutritionist, a masseuse, and everything? Right? He's getting the right electrolytes, the right feed, the right massage, the right baby stepping all the way. Mm-hmm. Why would he be paying for that? Why would he be blowing that money if it's not good?
So what did the article say?
The article says, well, we don't give them a lot. They don't need electrolytes. Come on.
Dave Ottaway says, I do it every day as well, the apple cider vinegar. He puts in 1 tablespoon to 3 gallons of water. And he says that is all they need. Guido says too much acidity will draw calcium out of the bird's bones as a natural buffering to fight acidity. 2 times a week, apple cider is okay.
I would almost guarantee what Dave's using. When he puts it in the water and you taste it, you won't even taste it. It's
I put an ounce in 10 liters of water. That's what I put in.
Okay. Right? That's good.
I can just barely smell it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tracy says that she just read the CRPU article too, and now she's really confused. Well, we're certainly not here to confuse you. I guess, I don't know. Some people believe in it and some people don't. Some people believe in vaccinations, some people don't. Some people believe in dry litter and some people don't. Sydney says that she Googled it and it says pigeons don't have sweat glands like humans do.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so
what do we smell?
I don't know what it is. If I put 15 birds in a basket and I have them, I can actually smell something coming.
And then you put 20 in the basket, and then you start to see some of them go like this.
Yeah,
they get hot.
They get hot.
Come on.
So if I put those same 15 birds, let's say out, and it's windy, I don't smell anything because they're cool. Or I do it in the wintertime, I put them outside, I don't smell nothing. If I bring them in to where there's a little bit of heat, maybe in my house,
come on,
bring them in the car.
Sweat.
I can smell. I don't. Maybe it's not sweat glands. What is it? I don't know.
It's definitely some kind of odor because I totally know that smell. I've smelled before and it's disgusting and it's not a regular.
Why is it when you pick them up they're hot in your hands?
They're hot like toast.
Yeah, because they're sweating.
Friendly. Hey guys, this is the great thing about this show is we just kind of go through it. We never have a plan and we end up having these great debates back and forth. And I think it's really interesting. And we're by no means saying we're right, they're wrong, or it's nice to just discuss ideas and have an open forum like this. Bill Astle on YouTube says interesting discussion and opinions. Thanks, you are welcome. Mike Vandriak says pigeons vomiting or with loose droppings can benefit from electrolytes. Dehydrated pigeons need pure water. Should I play the cricket sound?
I don't. Yeah. We're going on and on about this. Give them electrolytes or don't. However you want to bake your cake. There's a lot of ways to bake it, but I know one thing. I don't see no professional athletes drinking pure water. And I'm going to tell you something. They're making millions.
Mike said birds vomiting. Okay. So like they got young bird sickness. Okay. Right? You're better off to put them in a crate for 2 days with no food, no water, in a dark spot, and just let them sit it out, and then put them on a light.
Okay, wait. We weren't talking about sickness. We were talking about racing and giving birds electrolytes.
Yeah, but like Mike said, if they're puking.
Sure. Right? Sure. If they're puking and shitting and they're going down, you got to put something into them, right? I don't know.
Chris Withers says, I think people should stop reading the articles. They seem to be fake news. And Mike says, LMR, is the pigeon's body temperature the same as a human? Maybe sweating is also different. You know what I think?
No,
How about you guys do what's best for you, and
a
Brian and
pigeon's
Richard will
body
do what's
a
best for
pigeon's
them. I
body
don't know.
temperature is 107 degrees. Our body temperature is what, 98.6?
Listen, I don't. If I was racing dogs, I'd be given electrolytes. If I was racing horses, I'd be given electrolytes.
So you guys must know, when you put 10, 15 pigeons or 20 in a basket, you can smell.
Well, that's
there's
not
something coming off.
That's not sweat. That's the magical smell. I don't know.
Be sweat.
Well,
They're overheating.
Well, apparently, according to the CRPU, they don't sweat. I don't know. I'm sweating, and I'm just sitting here.
I don't know if it's sweat or not. There's an odor that comes off the birds. That's all I know. It's got to be sweat.
Here's the question.
They're hot.
The question is,
Put your hand over the basket.
If you're gonna rebuild, your birds. Would you give them the electrolytes, or would you say hell with it, just give them water?
I give them electrolytes. I give them that, what's the grape juice we give them?
The glucose.
Yeah, right.
Glucose, the dextrotronic, the omniform, the carmine. I give it to them as a super tonic. But this is only what I do. I had great luck bringing those birds back week after week after week.
The one fella said he puts honey in the water. It's very good for them.
Right. I don't know, I don't know.
Dave says, listen to the guys who fly well. No disrespect to Dr. C, but I have not seen his race result in years, if at all. Tracy likes orange Gatorade for hangovers. Good to know, Tracy. We'll make sure we have lots on hand when you come for a visit to the Pioneer Loft.
Oh, wait, Leah.
Wait a minute.
Leah, play the song. Play the bonus song, Leah. Play the bonus song. Hold on.
Leah, what you're saying is Tracy's going to come here with the hangover?
We're going to have to rebuild her.
I'm sure by the time she leaves, she'll have one.
Hey, Leah, could you do me a favor? And you know the bingo bonus round song?
Yes.
Tracy earned that song tonight. Hit that for her, please.
Oh, boy. Memory.
That's Tracy's hangover song. Remember, if you see Tracy with an orange Gatorade, you know that day of fishing was a tough one.
That's Tracy's hair of the dog is orange Gatorade.
Hey, you know what I really missed? I really miss it. The McDonald's orange drink. That was a
orange pop.
Oh yeah, orange pop, or their orange drink, they called it.
They don't have it anymore?
They don't have it anymore.
Wow.
And it was the best.
Oh yeah, you could get a jumbo like this.
God, you just slug her back. Great for hangover.
Moving on. Mike Vandriak says you might have learned something tonight, LMR. Mike, we're always learning. Every time, every show, we always finish the show and we talk and we're like, oh, that was a good show. I learned this, or I learned that, or Mike Vandriak had a good point, or Super Dave, or Chris, or whoever. That's why we do this show. Yeah, we're always
learning a little bit.
And hey, you want to know what? You want to know what's great? Mike may not use electrolytes, right? Mike may use something else. And that's Mike wins his share of races and does what he does. That's how Mike bakes his cake. We're not saying you got to listen to us. You don't have to listen to Mike. You don't have to listen to Dave. But what we want to do is we want to open up everyone's mind in a positive way. And I think that's what we're doing. And you want to know what's amazing? This week we're talking about pigeon sweat. Last week we were talking about something else. What will we be talking about next week?
I know we got all these birds out here, and I don't smell any sweat off them.
I don't smell.
If I load 15 or 20 in a basket.
Well, you smell an odor. Let's not call it sweat because it's upsetting people. Just a pigeon odor.
Oh, okay.
Chris says you just have to download the Homing World from rpra.org and have a read and have a look at how many products are available on the market for electrolytes. Well, and this was what I was thinking. Why would they have so many different electrolyte, recoup, boost kind of products if it's not needed by the pigeons? I mean, is it just all a bunch of BS, or is there some truth to it?
Well, you can go to the local feed store and buy electrolytes for people that transport chickens and cattle.
Yeah.
They want to give those animals
electrolytes.
It's not Gatorade. It's something different. It's electrolytes. Take a spoon, mix it up in a gallon of water, right?
There's all different things, and guys, there's all different theories. I know. Rich, my dad here, he used to talk about one guy in particular. He said he never gave his pigeons anything because he said his theory was if I have to give them something to bring them back, they don't have the natural ability. That's another way of looking at it. It's another way.
You know, I think that's another great thing about pigeon racing, pigeon flying, pigeon keeping. You can do things many different ways, as Ryan says, many different ways to bake a cake. And what works for you, if it's working for you and you're doing great and you're winning races and you don't need to change anything, then that's great. But maybe you want to just try the electrolytes for one season and see if it ups your game. And there's no harm in that. I don't think electrolytes are going to hurt a pigeon. I mean, maybe that
You know,
doctor said that it would, but then I can't imagine
you know,
why.
you,
I don't know.
you know what? You know who's a great example? You could take Frank Eichhorn. Last year, he tried some of the products that we sell. Right. Or he tried products. Forget that we sold. He tried some certain pigeon products.
Right.
And he said to me, Ryan, I never seen pigeons come from a race, bounce back like that, shining like gold. He had the results in his club. He lives in his club. No one touched him.
So
Nobody touched
let
him.
me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the man acquired better pigeons.
Nope.
Pigeons that will automatically.
The same
they're
old.
better
They were the
quality.
same old pigeons.
Oh,
He didn't upgrade the pigeons. These are the same old pigeons.
right. Okay.
Not and just a little bit of different, not method, but same sort of method, but rebuilding certain ways.
Yeah.
Picked it up. I know. Hey, we'll talk yesterday. He flew. It's 5 o'clock at night in his whole club. He had 6 birds or 7 birds home.
Right.
The rest of the club only had 1 bird home.
The rest of the members.
Members of his club.
Right.
So, getting back to electrolytes, Tony says in the article it states electrolytes is needed when the bird has diarrhea so that it can replace the lost electrolytes. That is what the article says. But Dad, you don't give your birds if they have diarrhea, the first thing you reach for is not electrolytes.
But I think what it's putting out there is diarrhea. You're losing. You're dehydrating at the same time. Yeah,
you have
right.
a fever.
So that's the idea. If you have diarrhea, you're really dehydration, and so what you have to do is bring back
the hydration.
Hydrate the body back up. So I think that's what the electrolytes is doing if you've got diarrhea, and that way. On the other way, if you're coming from a race or you're working hard, you got dehydration. And like what Tracy said, what Tracy said, if she's had a night out with some friends and she's consumed too much alcohol, which produces the next day a hangover, what that actually is alcohol will make you dehydrate. And the hangover feeling is part of dehydration that you get. And that's why the next morning, go and drink Gatorade or drink 3 glasses of water. Or before you go to bed, if you've had too many drinks that night, before you go to bed, drink 2 or 3 glasses of water. You're going to find out you won't have that hangover feeling. And the hangover feeling is dehydration.
That's right.
That little trick doesn't always work. But
it sure does help.
But my question is, what difference is it if you are giving them electrolytes because they're dehydrated due to diarrhea, or you're giving them electrolytes due to dehydration because they just flown a race? The point is the bird is dehydrated for whatever reason, and you're trying to put the hydration back into their system as quickly as possible.
It's like today, it's 30 degrees, 32 degrees. Go out here, let's start working hard in the yard, gardening, digging ditches, sodding.
Or just sit in the sun.
Have you ever had
You're working hard, and you work hard, and you never drank nothing all day while you're working. No water, no nothing.
Right.
You keep working. By the end of the day, you're going to feel like you're going to fall over.
Right.
Okay, Sydney says, who has horses as well as pigeons, she says, we give the horses electrolytes because it gives them the desire to drink more water. It's good when they are sick because the water will keep their system moving. Well, it's kind of the same thing when they come back from a race. No, they're not sick, but they're obviously depleted in energy, calories, everything that keeps you the tank going, right?
That's right.
It's the same thing,
You,
in my opinion.
you know what, guys? You rebuild your army how you feel it's fit. There's lots of products out there.
Believe it or not, if you work hard
Mhm.
in the sun, in the heat, really work.
Mhm.
I don't know what you're doing. Digging ditches,
Or whatever.
playing on a soccer field all day long. At the end of that day, you will have diarrhea probably. Okay.
Hey, wait.
Mike Vandriak
Thanks,
says they lose electrolytes through the stool, not by sweating. Okay, we've established that pigeons don't sweat and they don't have sweat glands, Mike.
Okay.
We get it.
Hey, listen,
We get it.
Oh my God.
By the end of
Hold
this,
on.
by the end of this show,
Mike,
we are all gonna
Mike?
be doctors.
Mike?
That's it.
if the damn pigeon don't sweat, then what's the smell out of the basket? That's the question.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure.
want to know. Forget it. They don't sweat. Whatever that is.
If anybody
And
knows.
by the way, when you have them in the basket and you take them out and they feel like they're about 15 degrees warmer
And they
got that smell
now
and they're doing like this a little bit,
guys out there.
what is
They
it?
know what that smell is.
Oh, they
Now,
know.
what we should do next show, we should load up 20 birds in a basket, and then once we get that smell coming on, we'll check their temperature before we put them in.
Okay.
It should be 107.
Yeah.
Let's
then-
Enough.
and we'll check them again. Okay, moving on. Dave Ottaway says, okay, my little trick at 300 to 500 miles. I give electrolytes on the 2 days before shipping. This will retain water in their system for very hot weather racing. It holds the water in their system. Clocked a few day bird smashes doing this and top the combine. Mike Vandiak says when they are dehydrated from a race, they have a high concentration of electrolytes in the blood. The last thing they need is more electrolytes. And Dave says my race record shows this. I'm
What
not
I
going to
like
talk
to
about
do-
sweating or electrolytes anymore because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about.
What I like to do in the afternoon before I ship the birds, I take rice and I boil it, nice rice.
Rice. You do this?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then I let them
Do you
drink
mind
the-
with your
let
pioneer
them eat
birds
the rice.
upstairs? I want to videotape
Yeah,
this one.
well, these are some things.
These are
that you
secret
don't
tips
know.
that
Yeah.
you've never showed me.
Rice, give them a nice boil up the rice, make it nice, and they'll eat the rice out, and that helps them retain the water.
Okay. I'll see you at 300 miles, Ricky. But I do think rice is good.
You've seen me before.
And remember, the harder the corn,
the slower the breakdown.
Breakdown. So remember, when you go to 400, 500, and 600-mile races, the harder, smaller corn takes longer to break down, which is good. What I love about the good old reindeer corn, as soon as she goes in, she absorbs the water, she breaks down at a better pace.
That's what I'm saying about the rice.
The reindeer corn, it's magical.
Now, all the years I've known you, I've never ever told you this. Now it's finally coming out.
We'll see. Go ahead,
All
Louie.
right. Nobody has any more comments or questions. We are at about an hour, 23 minutes. So put your last comments or questions in the comment section and we will get to them. Want to give a big congratulations to our good friend Mo. I'm just going to throw his picture up here. Mo is now proudly powered by benzene. We want to give Mo a huge round of applause. Revolution. The pigeons want to give you a round of applause too, Mo.
Good, Mo.
Congratulations to Mo on making that change and getting his benzene. Very excited about teaching him and him learning and seeing all the benefits. And then you guys can ask him, what are your thoughts on the benzene clock? Werner Vale, nice to see you on, Werner. He says, hi guys, we always used electrolytes after the race. If they don't sweat, why are they so thirsty on arrival? Very nice to see Werner. Tune in. If anybody who doesn't know Werner, why don't you give a brief overview on Werner Vale and the long history of pigeon racing in his family.
Right. I will say if they used it, I'll make sure I'm going to be using it. Because I know one thing, when they flew pigeons, you only seen them up at the very top of the sheet. So,
but nowadays, things are changing here. We have some other products.
Right. But we're talking they would evolve with that. If they were using electrolytes then, you'd be using them now, wouldn't you? And then you'd be looking for even more stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, wait. Do you think back in 1960 in the Olympics they were giving runners electrolytes, or were they giving them water?
They never had it.
They never had it. Oh, there you go. Hey, by the
They
way,
might have been drinking water with some honey in it.
By the way, you look at all the sports teams again, they're either sponsored by Gatorade or Powerade. Do you think if this was such a hocus pocus, these companies would be in business?
Well, like
But
you just mentioned that.
But they're saying that humans and pigeons are different and it's not the same thing. But W.R. LeMay says, and nice to see you on, W.R. He says, so if they pant, the vapor is in the air. So if 100 birds are in a box, it's wet. What is that?
I would call that sweat. Thank you.
No, it's heat off the birds, which is
sweat.
Yeah,
it's just sweat.
And then humidity comes up in the box.
Can I ask you a question? When we pull the birds out of the quarantine boxes, they're in the individual stalls. We take them out of the widowhood crates. What's the first thing you can smell? You smell them a bit. And what do they do when they go on the ground? First thing they do, they run to the water. I want a drink. I'm hot. I've been in there too long.
Chris Withers says, I guess watercress. I think that's what he means by cress.
Watercress? Yeah.
Watercress and lettuce given on a Friday morning because it holds water in the crop. That's his way of doing it.
Okay. Good way. And I think a lot of the sneaky mixes, the flaxseed, the rapeseed, things like that, day of shipping, puts the water in. I think a good thing is give your birds, my idea is good, give your birds whatever you're giving them on Friday, give them their drink in the morning, pull the drinker out an hour before you go to the club, put the drinker back in. If you're motivating, put the drinker back in before you motivate them. To let everybody go and have a drink. And hey, while they're motivating, leave the drinker in.
You know the energy corn we sell from Versalaga?
Yeah.
The energy pellets.
Yeah.
Okay. There's small little wee pellets. And you give that to them on Friday in the afternoon. They drink and they eat.
It swells up. It's like bread.
They eat it.
Swells.
They drink. It swells.
But you know
when the body balloons, that's what you call it. That's the moisture going into the muscle.
And you know the other thing is with those energy pellets, and we use I'm not a big pellet guy, and what's great about their mix is they have 1 or 2%.
Right.
But what's great about those pellets? You put a pellet in water and watch what it does. Disintegrates. So when it gets into that system,
that's what I'm saying. Automatically,
she fires right away.
Dave Ottaway says, don't use anything in excess is all. More is not always better. Mike says, Ryan, you need to stop comparing people with pigeons. They're different metabolisms. And Tracy wants to know if we're done with Wind Companion. No, we're not officially done with Wind Companion, but I need to get everything straight with the benzing, band numbers, who's still here, who's not here, make sure all the chips are correct. And then I have to get Terry to hopefully try and match up the benzing chips with the Wind Companion system. There's really not. I tried to manually enter the chip numbers. That didn't work. So I've just kind of, at the moment, given up posting the inventory on Wind Companion until I get this sorted out. So for now, we're just going to be with benzing. And for next year, let me just finish for a second, Ryan. Next year, it is only going to be on the benzing one loft. We are not continuing with Wind Companion for next season at all because it's too much of a pain. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Go ahead.
He said exactly what that's right. That's how to do them, but this one he doesn't know how to do.
Well, maybe you should hook Terry up
either. We're working on it. Hopefully by the time the training starts, I will have it adjusted and we will be live on Wind Companion and benzing. But right now, I'm just trying to get everything correct in the benzing system. Hopefully that helps.
Like Madonna said, life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear them call my name, and it feels like home.
I have no idea. Also want to remind everybody before we sign off that our Pioneer Trailer Fundraiser Auction will be opening on the 13th, which is Sunday. It'll be open for a week, running from the 13th of June to the 20th on our website, fipa.ca or feathersleeppigeonauctions.com. We have 10 birds up for grabs from winners from last year's one loft race. Great way to get involved in the race. Great way to support our trailer build fundraiser. The auction will be run like a regular Feathers Elite auction. Ryan and I are going to do a show on all the birds. The pedigrees are going to be up. We're going to do the eye sign videos, just like a regular Feathers Elite auction, folks. So that opens on Sunday. Again, the meeting is next Wednesday. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
We are going to have this meeting online. I prefer people to come. It gets people more together and communicating. If you can't make it, I need you to be on the line on our Facebook show and be participating in the show.
Yes.
So if you have a question, get in there and ask. Aaliyah's going to be in. Aaliyah, you're going to be here. We're going to run it all online. And this isn't a sit down and have a barbecue and drinks and blah, blah, blah. This is a pigeon meeting now.
Yeah, so this, the June the 16th meeting is going to be just a meeting. So please eat your dinner beforehand. We will not be serving food at the meeting. It's going to be come in, do the meeting, and go home, because we tried the food thing on Saturday and people weren't able to come. But that's okay. We had a great time. Everybody who did come, we had a great time. We plan on doing another Pioneer type barbecue picnic thing again this summer, hopefully down the road. But June the 16th will be a meeting only. Mike Vandiak says all Pioneer One Loft entries should be sold at auction next year. Gives the condo dwellers the chance to participate. Well, I don't have. Do we have any condo dwellers in the race this year? I mean, the condo dwellers are great, but we need to access them. And quite frankly, Ryan and I just don't have time to be running around to all the condos in downtown Toronto passing out flyers, even though we'd love to. If somebody else would like to jump on that bandwagon and help to promote in the condos, let us know. I will make up the flyers. I will give you the flyers, and you can help. There's just only so many hours in the day. And Ryan and I, unfortunately, and Richard, we just don't have time to do everything. So it's a great idea. If you want to volunteer, let us know.
Well, look at my tabletop loft.
Yeah, we're gonna have our claimer series. We have a few things coming up here. What's great is these one loft birds. They're out. They're flying. They're still working. They're working. They're working in the heat. They're learning the heat. If I can give anybody any tips, my personal tip: you want them to work in the heat, play them in the heat. Give them confidence, but always remember, if you play them, make sure they can finish the game with success. Don't play them to beat them. It's like I watch guys, they play fight with the pigeons. You talk to Macaroni, I play fight with the pigeon. I play fight with the pigeon. I never beat the pigeon. Pigeon always has to beat me. Build the confidence. Build the confidence. If you're going to play them in the rain, make sure they can finish it in the rain. Give them the confidence, the little things, the confidence.
I think on that note, that is great advice. Great show, guys. Great discussion. Great debate. ABC Law says, thanks for information and answering my questions. No problem.
Great questions. Great questions.
Also, I know there's been requests over on YouTube that we do more live stuff over on YouTube. They want to see the birds loft flying, Ryan.
Okay.
Normally, we're going to make that happen for you, YouTube. We just have to do a show. I just have to show Ryan how to do a few things, and we will absolutely do more lives on both Facebook and YouTube, so our YouTube fans are able to see the birds developing and loft flying and rambling and all that fun stuff that our Facebook friends get to see.
Right, we're going to, with these one loft birds around the 14th, that's a Monday, the 14th of this month, we're going to switch them into the morning time. So these are going to start to go out about 5:36 in the morning. You'll get up every morning with me. We have our coffee. Birds go up. We're going to watch them go. We're going to watch them work. We're going to watch them progress. And remember, when they're done their loft fly, you can come on the board. You're going to have their drink. There's going to be days where I'm going to push them and keep them going, make them work. And then they'll pick that up and they'll go from there until we get ready to start road training. But the next spot for these birds, it's very big, is from about the 14th to the 25th. Those 10 to 12 days of getting out there and getting that cool air under their wings and getting them rambling, because I can see these guys are pretty much ready to go to the next step.
I just want to respond to a comment from Mike Vandiak, who said the condo dwellers is a generic name for people that can't have a loft of their own. That is how to grow the hobby, give them a chance to participate. Yeah, I get that, Mike.
Yes.
I wasn't, I get that. And trust me,
right.
We're doing our best to try and get everybody involved. That's why we give away junior purchase at a
Hey,
reduced
hey,
price.
hey,
That's why we
hey,
invite
hey,
everybody to come to our functions. I get what
hey,
you're saying. Of course, we want everybody to get involved. But again, we're only 2 people here, so we
hey,
need some
hey,
help.
hey, hey. Hold on a second. We put on this weekend. Put a club meeting. Guys, bring your neighbors, bring your friends, bring somebody that might be interested. You know what? We got a piss poor showing of people that showed up, but the ones that showed up I was very happy with. Hold on.
We got about 10 people.
10 guys. You know what?
And girls, ladies,
100 guys.
ladies,
100 of you.
ladies.
Where were you? You're shipping races to nowhere, never land. You know what? Give me an extra inch. Give me an extra mile. Don't sit there and blah, blah, blah. Show me a little bit more. Give me more, please. I'm sorry. Hey, you know what? We put on one hell of a good time here. And you know what? If you bring somebody in that's somewhat interested and they say, oh, look at this is nice. I can bring my wife here. We can have a picnic. We can do this. I like the pigeons. Oh, I'm going to maybe buy a bird or get Mike to breed a bird for this race or be partners with people, help out. That's how you grow it. But you guys got to do some work.
That's right.
We all got to do more work.
What do you say? We can provide the vessel or we can provide the opportunity. But if nobody takes advantage of the opportunity, I don't
And
really know what it is.
I wouldn't call it so much of a club meeting. I would say it's an invitation to come and meet us pigeon people.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what it is.
It's a meeting, I guess.
It's a meeting. It's a gathering place. It's thinking outside the box.
That's
Come
right.
on.
And it's a way that we are trying to get everybody involved. It was lovely that Tony and Henry brought their wives. That was wonderful. It was the first time at a pigeon event that I've really seen wives come. I think they had a great time. It was great to meet them. I think they enjoyed it, and it's great to see them supporting their husbands in this sport and this hobby, which I know can be very demanding on relationships. If you're a pigeon flyer, you know, it's hard on the other person. I grew up in a pigeon flyer's household. I know how it works. Ask my mother. She'll tell you. One day we'll have her on.
Well, but this is the truth. And you know what? The people who came and brought their wives, I think they had a very good time. We talked pigeons. We didn't talk pigeons. We talked this. We talked that. We had cornhole going. We had food going. It was a nice, fun event. And you know what? Good. We were outside the box. You know what? I've been to a lot of pigeon meetings, and I would like to say I've never been to one like the one we just had. That was something very nice. Great, Leah. You designed it all. She really did. She took the bull by the horns, and thank you very much for putting that 150% effort in. It was fantastic.
Oh, Mike says you were competing with COVID and Combine Club racing. Your Wednesday night meeting is a good choice of day. Mike, there is never a good time because somebody's going to tell me that the Wednesday they can't make it because their kid has to go to ballet or they got to work late. There's never a good time. There's never a good time.
It's okay. You know what? I got to push you guys. That's what I'm going to do. I'm here to push you.
For the first event, we had a great time, and you always have to start somewhere. And we have built a foundation with a good core group of people. And I'm excited to see what this season brings and the next season and the season after that. Because if you don't start with a good group of people, you're going nowhere. And we're already ahead of the game because we got a good group. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Ryan, are you going to do a feeding show, trapping and feeding at the after this, or what are you doing?
What time is it, Leah?
It is 8:30.
Okay, we're going to do a trapping here tonight. The first bird trapped tonight in this game will be moving on to our finals. I guess it would be on Friday, Leah.
Okay, so we're going to start with the team challenges. Trapping time trials start tonight. How's it going to work? First bird to clock tonight is going to move on to the
first from each color. First from each color. First from each color.
First from each color. Okay, so the
what
trapping...
are you talking about? Blue bars?
No.
Blue checkers?
Reds?
Teams.
Yellows, blues, and greens.
Okay.
Right.
They're moving on. They move on to Friday's final. We got to get going, Leah. I got to put the lights on. We got to help me start the clock. You guys have been great.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I really like all this international. We're getting people from all over tuning in. Nobody take anything we say to heart. We appreciate all the comments. Do pigeons sweat or do they not? None of us will ever know, but we know one thing.
Remember
Stay hydrated.
what I said. 99% of this show is true. 1% is false.
You got to find that 1%.
Parental advice.
Discretion. Parental
Discretion.
is
Parental
parental
discretion is right.
So, all of our opinions are our own. Please, you do your own research.
There's only 1% is lies. Okay.
And hey guys, by the way,
on.
Just stay hydrated, inch by inch, brick by brick, mile by mile. I'll be back on in about 5 minutes.
I'm going to the store. I'm going to get 6 bottles of Gatorade.
Remember, not just any Gatorade. Orange. Hey, wait.
Oh, yes, Ryan.
One more thing. Tracy.
Yes, Ryan.
Fishy. She likes to fish.
Leah.
Anyways, go.
I'm Leah, that's Ryan, and loft manager Richard, and we're from the Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Thanks for flying with us. And Ryan, what